You can now purchase individual audiobooks by clicking the first link in the description below. You can get all audiobooks in a podcast feed by clicking the second link in the description below. Thank you for your support. The Governance of China, Volume 3 by Xi Jinping. Audiobook, Part 17. China's Diplomacy as a Major Country. China's Diplomacy in the New Era. Main points of the speech at the 2017 meeting for Chinese diplomatic envoys, December 28, 2017. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, under the leadership of the Party Central Committee and with the support of the people, we have forged ahead on the diplomatic front in the face of multiple challenges. We have remained resolute in safeguarding China's sovereignty, national security, and development interests. We have broadened our global diplomatic agenda and played an active part in global governance. We have launched the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, and moved it forward. We have achieved unprecedented successes and created a favorable external environment for realizing the two centenary goals and the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation, thus contributing significantly to human progress. Our remarkable accomplishments in foreign affairs over the past 5 years have won plaudits from the whole party and the people of China. Chinese socialism has entered a new era. To improve our diplomatic work in the new era, we must get a solid grasp of the guiding principles established at the 19th CPC National Congress and clearly identify the underlying trends of the times and international developments. The world is undergoing momentous changes of a scale unseen in a century. Since the turn of this century, a significant number of emerging markets and developing countries have achieved rapid economic growth. The trend towards multipolarity is gaining momentum, and the configuration of international dynamics is moving towards balance. This is an irreversible trend. Under the leadership of the CPC and with resolve and tenacity, our Chinese nation has stood up, become better off, and grown in strength. The prospects for China's rejuvenation are bright as never before. As long as we stay true to our vision and forge ahead on the path of building socialism with Chinese characteristics, we will make China stronger and even more prosperous. Our country will move closer to the center stage of the world and make a greater contribution to humanity. Under the strong leadership of the party, we Chinese are marching on the path of Chinese socialism, reform, and opening up with pride, confidence, and commitment. We refuse to return to the old path of a rigid closed-door policy or follow an erroneous path of abandoning socialism. Instead, we have endeavored to break new ground. As a result, we have made remarkable advances in building socialism with Chinese characteristics. Our future is bright. China now faces both unprecedented opportunities and challenges. You and all those working on China's diplomatic front must gain a full understanding of and apply the guiding principles established at the 19th CPC National Congress and the thought on socialism with Chinese characteristics for a new era. You must remain true to our original aspiration and founding mission and press ahead with determination. You should break new ground in diplomacy that befits China's status as a major country and further contribute to the cause of the party and the state. First, remain loyal to the party and dedicate yourselves to the nation. Strong commitment to your ideals and convictions and absolute loyalty to the party, nation, and people are the root and soul of a Chinese diplomat. You should enhance the four consciousnesses and reinforce the four-sphere confidence. You should keep in alignment with the CPC Central Committee in the way of thinking, in political principles, and in actions. You should firmly uphold the authority of the Central Committee and its centralized, unified leadership. You should act on the principles and policies on foreign affairs formulated by the Central Committee and resolutely safeguard China's interests and national dignity. Our diplomats should conduct diplomacy for the people and serve them wholeheartedly. Second, be enterprising and have a strong sense of mission. The CPC strives for both the well-being of the Chinese people and the progress of humanity. You should take a holistic approach to both the domestic and international situation, develop a global and strategic vision, and pursue the interests of both China and the world. We should promote a new model of international relations and a global community of shared future. You should endeavor to pursue a broad diplomatic agenda, expand the network of global partnerships, and make more friends across the world. You should promote BRI, boost win-win cooperation between China and other countries, and pursue common development. You should become more actively involved in global governance and multilateral affairs to uphold the interests of the Chinese and humanity. You need to tell the world China's success stories, especially those of the party and the people, to promote mutual understanding and friendship between China and other countries. Third, pursue continuous learning and self-improvement. China's diplomacy is taking on new and broader dimensions, and conditions are changing. This has raised new tasks and missions for you diplomats, and much more is expected of you. You should have both strong political commitment and professional competence. To this end, you should take a live and learn approach and gain a keen understanding of the party's theories, principles, and policies, as well as Chinese laws and regulations. You should also enrich your knowledge of a range of subjects, enhance your professional caliber, and build up your capacity so that you will be better able to fulfill your diplomatic mission. Fourth, remain committed to the principle that the party must practice self-discipline and be strict with its members. The power to make foreign policy rests with the CPC Central Committee, which exercises centralized and unified leadership over China's foreign affairs. Party organizations must fulfill their principal responsibilities for enforcing party discipline and conducting strict party self-supervision and self-governance. You must see that the party's leadership over foreign affairs is upheld, party organizations strengthened, and the party's political foundations reinforced. You must strictly comply with party political discipline and rules and the Central Committee's 8 rules. You should build yourselves into a vigorous contingent of diplomats who have strong political commitment, are professionally competent, and are exemplary in conduct and well-disciplined. It is my hope that you will live up to the trust of the party and the people, faithfully perform your duties, work creatively, and make your contribution to China's diplomatic work in the new era. Strengthen CPC Central Committee leadership over foreign affairs. Main points of the speech at the first session of the Commission for Foreign Affairs under the CPC Central Committee. May 15th, 2018. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee, we have worked creatively to break new ground in our diplomatic theories and practices. We have better pursued and expanded our global diplomatic agenda. We have initiated the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI. We have been more actively involved in reform and improvement of the global governance system. We have been firm in safeguarding China's sovereignty, national security, and development interests. The party's centralized and unified leadership over our foreign affairs has been enhanced. We have pursued a distinctive Chinese approach to diplomacy befitting a major country and achieved historic successes. Given the buildup of factors of uncertainty and instability in the world today, we are faced with both opportunities and challenges. We must therefore have a correct reading of the evolving international environment and the development trends in both China and the world, while being conscious of potential risks and challenges that may arise on our journey ahead. We must be prepared to address problems should they arise. Now, and in the time to come, we should pursue a broader diplomatic agenda and see that our major initiatives are delivered as planned. We should guard against risks and dangers and make sure that China's sovereignty, national security, and development interests will never be compromised. BRI cooperation provides a solid platform for building a global community of shared future. In just a few years, this initiative has evolved from vision into action, a results-oriented project of international cooperation. We should follow up on the programs and projects agreed at the first Belt and Road Forum for international cooperation and work closely with other BRI participants to build consensus and plan for future cooperation. We should open up further and enhance dialogue, consultation, and cooperation with other parties. We should see that BRI cooperation makes solid and sustainable progress and deliver true benefits to the peoples of participating countries. The conduct of foreign affairs at the subnational level is an integral part of the foreign affairs agenda of the party and the government. It can make a significant contribution to international exchanges and cooperation and to reform and development of local areas. The conduct of foreign affairs at the subnational level must be planned under the centralized and unified leadership of the Central Commission for Foreign Affairs to ensure success. The resources for foreign affairs at the subnational level should be managed centrally and used for localities with clear and specific objectives. To advance China's foreign affairs in the new era, the Central Commission for Foreign Affairs should play its role of policymaking, deliberation, and coordination. The Commission should encourage and promote new breakthroughs in diplomatic theories and practices, and provide guidance in opening up new horizons. We should strengthen top-level design and coordination and build up our capacity to chart the right course, craft overall plans, and design policies. We should advance reform of foreign affairs-related systems and mechanisms, and strengthen the training and management of officials involved. We should ensure that priority programs are carried out through proper management, inspection, and follow-up measures, and that the Party Central Committee's decisions on foreign affairs are implemented in full. Break new ground in China's major country diplomacy. Main points of the speech at the Central Conference on Foreign Affairs. June 22nd, 2018. In conducting foreign affairs, we should be guided by the thought on foreign affairs of socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era. We must take a holistic approach to the situation both at home and abroad, focus on the goal of rejuvenating the Chinese nation and promoting the progress of humanity, and endeavor to build a global community of shared future. We must firmly uphold China's sovereignty, national security, and development interests, actively participate in reform of the global governance system, and steer its course. We should enhance our network of global partnerships and endeavor to break new ground in pursuing major country diplomacy with distinctive Chinese features. We hope that with these efforts, we will be able to create a favorable external environment and contribute to the building of a moderately prosperous society in all respects, and ultimately, a great modern socialist country. Since the 18th CPC National Congress in 2012, under the strong leadership of the Party Central Committee, we have overcome multiple difficulties in the ever-changing world and forged ahead on the diplomatic front in the face of multiple challenges. We have made remarkable progress in pursuing in a creative way major country diplomacy with distinctive Chinese features. We have withstood the test of numerous risks, fought many tough battles, accomplished no small number of difficult missions, and made historic progress. Reviewing these practice and experiences, we are more keenly aware that in conducting foreign affairs, we must always take a holistic approach to the domestic and international situation, have confidence in our diplomatic strategies, maintain strategic resolve, and creatively develop and enrich our diplomatic theories and practices. We need to plan and pursue our diplomatic agenda from a strategic and global perspective and firmly safeguard our core and major national interests. We should uphold the greater good and shared interests in promoting mutually beneficial cooperation and remain alert to risks and potential dangers. Since the 18th CPC National Congress, based on a keen understanding of the general development trends in China and the world in the new era, we have made significant breakthroughs in our diplomatic theories and practices. It is on this basis that the thought on foreign affairs of socialism with Chinese characteristics in the new era has taken shape. The 10 principles underlying the thought are as follows: upholding the authority of the CPC Central Committee and strengthening the party's centralized and unified leadership over China's foreign affairs, pursuing major country diplomacy with distinctive Chinese features to accomplish the great rejuvenation of the Chinese nation, building a global community of shared future to safeguard world peace and promote common development, upholding socialism with Chinese characteristics and enhancing our strategic confidence, pursuing the Belt and Road Initiative, BRI, under the principles of extensive consultation and joint contribution to benefit all, pursuing peaceful development on the basis of mutual respect and win-win cooperation, building global partnerships through pursuing a broad diplomatic agenda, steering reform of the global governance system to promote greater equity and justice, upholding China's sovereignty, national security, and development interests as our core and non-negotiable position, and shaping China's distinctive diplomatic conduct by drawing on its best traditions and adopting to the changing times. We must put into action the thought on foreign affairs and work continuously to create an external environment favorable for realizing the Chinese dream of national rejuvenation and building a global community of shared future. We need to adopt a historical and holistic approach to assessing international developments and choose the right approach to China's role. A historical approach is to observe the unfolding international developments from a historical perspective. We need to review the past and learn lessons from history so as to gain a keen understanding of the underlying trends of the future. A holistic approach is to look beyond individual phenomena or specifics to capture the essence of developments and see the broader picture. We must focus on the main problems and their key features, so as to not get disoriented or pursue minor interests to the neglect of fundamental ones in a fluid and ever-changing world. The right approach to China's role is to be cool-headed in analyzing global developments. We should view China's role in the context of its relations with the rest of the world, so as to clearly define its position and role in an evolving international landscape and adopt a foreign policy that befits China's role. Our country is now in its best period of development since the advent of modern times, and the world is undergoing momentous changes unseen in a century. Both trends are growing and impacting each other. These developments are conducive to conducting our foreign affairs for now and in the years to come. The period between the 19th and the 20th CPC National Congresses is one where the time frames of the two centenary goals converge, and this period is of special significance to achieving the rejuvenation of the Chinese nation. World history tells us that the progress of humanity has always been driven by the interplay of interwoven events. We must make an in-depth analysis of evolving international developments as the world is going through a period of transition. This will help us to gain a keen understanding of the underlying features of China's external environment and plan and conduct our foreign affairs accordingly. We need to have a keen appreciation of the dynamics of the accelerating global trend towards multipolarity and closely follow the significant adjustments of relations among major countries. We need to closely follow both the growing trend of economic globalization and the profound changes in the world economic landscape. We need to recognize both the overall stability in the international environment and the complexity of interwoven international security challenges. We also need to see both the trend of mutual learning and enrichment between civilizations and the diversity of ideas and cultures. To successfully conduct China's foreign affairs, we should implement the overall plans and decisions of the Party Central Committee and pursue a well-considered diplomatic agenda with clearly defined priorities. We should endeavor to break new ground in conducting foreign affairs with a focus on historic junctures and major events on the timeline of the party and our country. In the next 5 years, we will accomplish the first centenary goal and start working towards the second. A series of major events are scheduled for this period. We must align our diplomatic programs with these events and junctures. We should make overall plans with clearly set priorities and adopt a phased approach to their implementation. We should move forward on multiple fronts while taking targeted measures in priority areas so as to deliver desired outcomes. We should continue to champion the cause of building a global community of shared future and work for greater fairness and equity in global governance. We should continue to push forward the BRI under the principles of extensive consultation and joint contribution to benefit all, and to see that BRI cooperation will achieve solid and sustainable progress and will lift China's opening up to a new level. We should properly handle our relations with other major countries and put in place a framework for stable and balanced growth of relations among major countries. We should continue to pursue neighborhood diplomacy to foster a more favorable and friendlier environment in areas around China. We should strengthen ties and cooperation with other developing countries to promote common progress and development. Other developing countries are China's natural allies in international affairs. We must pursue the greater good and shared interests and boost solidarity and collaboration between developing nations. We must further promote in-depth exchanges and mutual learning between China and the rest of the world. Foreign policy epitomizes the will of a state. The power to make foreign policy is vested in the CPC Central Committee. It is important to maintain our political commitment, think in terms of the general picture, follow the core leadership of the CPC Central Committee, and act in accordance with its requirements. It is imperative to uphold the authority of the CPC Central Committee and its centralized and unified leadership, and closely follow the leadership in terms of thinking, political commitment, and actions. All directives and orders of the CPC Central Committee must be executed without fail. The conduct of foreign affairs is a systematic endeavor. It requires coordination between all actors involved, including the party, the government, NPC, CPPCC, the military, local authorities, and non-governmental sectors. Each actor needs to have their own focus and work in concert with others. There should be a general framework of cooperation and coordination in place where the CPC exercises overall leadership and coordinates the foreign affairs programs of all the actors. The mechanisms will ensure the foreign policy and strategies decided by the CPC Central Committee be implemented in letter and spirit. End of audiobook, part 17.